World Water Day. It is a day aimed at bringing the attention of nations to the global water crisis and negative repercussions of contaminated water on the human species. A core focus of World Water Day is to support the achievement of Sustainable Development Goal 6, water and sanitation for all by 2030. The theme for this year's commemoration is groundwater, making invisible visible. Focuses on exploring protection and sustainably using groundwater, which is central to surviving and adapting to climate change and meeting the needs of a growing population. Associate Director Kappa Aderonke Ige joins me via Zoom from Dakar, Senegal, to share more insight. Good to have you join us, Aderonke.
Yes, hello. So good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, we seem to talk about, when we talk about water, I think there is so much confusion for some people who wonder, really, is water scarce? Because we have a lot of water bodies. But, I think about 90% of the water bodies, if I'm right, between 70 to 90% is not even, you cannot drink it. And so there is a problem. But talk to us about the scale of this problem, especially in a place like Nigeria and Africa.
Thank you so much. I think I totally love that dimension because it's one thing to be carried away and be deceived by saying, oh, we have a lot of water around us. You look at where we are as a people, as a country, you look at Nigeria, and then more generally, you look at Africa as a continent, and you tend to see sometimes that we are often surrounded by water. But the germane question actually is what you have asked, which is this water even usable? Is it accessible? Is it available in a sense in which people really need it? So is this water fit for use? First of all, how accessible is it to people? How affordable is it to people, and so on? And then the answer is not far-fetched. We are people surrounded by water, yet none to drink, and that's the reason that you find water-related diseases really common among us. And even apart from that, you see a lot of people, especially households, where they have to travel miles to get water that is usable, either for drinking, for cooking, other domestic uses, and so on. So it's really unfortunate. It's a tragic situation. Like you make allusion to it, today again is World Water Day. And for us, World Water Day has become something that is beyond just a jamboree or a commemoration, just by the way of saying. It's also a day of action, a day of reflection to say, are we really on course when you talk about human right to water? Like many people don't know, water is actually a human right, and it was declared so in, yes,
absolutely.
In 2010.
I'm sorry to jump in because of our time, but I just want, because you said something, I think I'm going to tweet that, why people surrounded by water but with none to drink, because for me that's very deep. But how do we make, because really it almost sounds like rocket science here when we talk about access to water. Some people wash and bathe and drink from the same water source. So it is a river or a stream, they are bathing there, they are drinking there, that same water they cook with, and that's why they're susceptible to several kinds of diseases. How do we make water accessible, especially for Nigerians?
Thank you very much. I think for us as water justice advocates, and especially at one of the things we have identified is the fact that of all the threats to water access, water privatization is a germane one. And I'll explain what I mean very quickly. So now, one of the ways that make it really impossible for people to be able to access water or even get decent water to use is the fact that public water has become really ineffective, in the sense that government is abrogating its duties, has become so ineffective to the point where we feel that we always need the private sector as a messiah. We need the corporations. But we all know that corporates are here for one reason and one reason alone. It is profit. So by the time we always resort to privatization as the solution, then that means we become irresponsible with our public water infrastructure and public water sector, in a sense where we try to court the privatizers to come into our public water sector and then take over. And that makes it even worse for people in the sense where water then becomes another substance that only the rich can access. So we have identified that as a serious problem, which we have continued to advocate against in Nigeria, because we have also seen the failure in some African countries. Take Gabon, take Mozambique as example. So we don't want that evil to befall us as a people in Nigeria, because like you said, really, you see a lot of households.
So basically, I'm cutting in because of my time, Ronke. Sorry, I have to run. But you know, I just want to summarize this. Water is a government responsibility. And it is a human right and a government responsibility. Government has to meet that human right. And I think that's another key takeaway from this conversation. Thank you so much, Ronke. Associate Director Kappa at Ronke Ige. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.